homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today it's time to save Cherokee Purple tomato seeds. Now, Crystal yesterday, if you follow our videos, yesterday she processed Cherokee Purples, and we put those in the dehydrator and put some in the freezer. Well, she did all the work necessary to start on the idea of saving seeds. Now, these first Cherokee Purples came from, and sorry if you hear the dehydrator, they came from the very first Cherokee Purples we harvested, and they were all super ripe. And the reason they come from the first ones is those first blooms in the spring, the Cherokee Purples were the only tomatoes blooming at that time. So I'm pretty certain that these will have the required no other pollination. Generally tomatoes are self-fertile, but sometimes they can cross-pollinate. But these were the very first ones. There was no other tomatoes in the garden blooming anywhere on the property, so you can be pretty certain that these will all come back true. Now, she did all the work. Here's the video of her doing that. She washes it, takes off anything that needs to be taken off. Cuts off the blossom end. She's going to cut that stem off that was tough. Then she slices them long ways because of the way Cherokee Purple seeds are. It's easier to do if you slice the tomato in that direction instead of slicing across. Gives you a nice cross section. You can cut out the stem and slice it into slices. We put bowl, remove the seeds. After a while you get pretty good at knowing where the seeds are. Now once she got her work done, all the seeds, most of the pulp is out because she put it in the dehydrator. You can hear them running over here. They've been running about 18 hours, and they've still got a few hours to go. But all this pulp, we've still got it, and we keep it, and I put it in a 5-gallon bucket. Let me show you. Here's a 5-gallon bucket. It's half full of ends and different stuff, but there's still seeds in that. See the seeds? There's still seeds in that. So what we want to do, we want to make this. See, there's the stuff in there. It's about 1/4 of a 5-gallon bucket of seeds of tomato pulp. Now we want to make that. This stuff right here, this tomato, I call it tomato snot. That stuff. That is a seed sprout inhibitor. Okay? Now what you need to do is get rid of that. Well, to save these seeds, we're going to save them by something called vinegration. Now I'm going to save a lot of seeds this year, because I'm going to start selling some of the seeds that we do here on College Hill Farm so people can garden along with us. I'm going to sell them on eBay. But all you want to do is, once you've got these, I'm going to take and just add some water. Now this is chlorinated water. It doesn't have to be chlorinated. As a matter of fact, it'd be better if it wasn't. So that'll just mean it'll take it a couple of extra days. But I'm going to add this water. Get me a big spoon here. And I'm going to add enough water so that everything will be covered in water. Okay, that's enough. There's 3/4 of a bucket. Now these tomatoes float. Okay? If you've ever canned tomatoes and you raw pack them, they float when they're done. Well, these will float as they start to decompose. The decomposition product will cause some of these to float. You can already see some tomato seeds floating around in there. Okay, see them right here? There are tomato seeds floating around. Now, some of those tomato seeds are not going to be viable, but the viable seeds are going to sink to the bottom. Now, if we look at those, what we want these to do is we want them to rot up, because tomatoes rot, that's what they do. So in order to let these rot up, I'm going to take and just lay a lid on them, because really I want to keep the fruit flies out. That lid won't be down solid, it'll just lay on there. And now I'm going to take this and put it in a dark building outside, just out of sunlight, and this is going to set for 2 or 3 days. And after it's set, I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with them. Welcome back. It's been 3 days. 2 days ago I stirred the tomatoes, but it's been 3 days since we put those in a bucket and put them out here in the building. Well, they're going to be a little tough. What do you need now at this point? Well, you need a strainer. This is a small seed strainer. It's actually a large strainer, but it's for small seeds. It's a real fine mesh. Put that up as close as I can get it, so to give you an idea. Okay, you'll need that. The bigger one of these you have, the better. Okay, you'll need paper plates. I've got 3 paper plates here because I've got several tomato seeds. Now, I'm battling the rain. The rain looks like it's coming. You'll need a water source. I like to use my water hose with a hard spray nozzle. And you'll need something to dip with. I just use one of our old pots that we don't use anymore. Let's have a look at what we're getting ready to do. Now, I'm going to uncover these. Now, the truth is, they smell bad, like tomato vomit. Look at there. What do you see? It's all covered with Margos. It's nasty, but it's done its job. See, it should start with a white mold that looks like this. Okay, now I need to dip all of this stuff out of here. Okay, all of this leftover stuff, I'm going to stir it a little. And it really, really stinks. Now, all of this stuff that's floating is bad. Any seeds that are floating are bad. Okay, all of the viable seeds should have sunk to the bottom. I'm going to dip all this off. put some more water in it right quick. Now I'm going to give that about 10 minutes to settle. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes. I've let it settle, let the foam settle, and some more stuff's floated to the top. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to skim it off, because there's nothing that we need floating in this top section. Anything that's floating is a non-viable seed. Plus, most of the fruit fly larvae will be floating in this top part of the water. Now, why did I want fruit fly larvae in there? Well, this method is called vinegration. Okay? Vinegar is caused by a bacteria called Acetobacter. Now, fruit flies are naturally, their feet have Acetobacter on them. So they bring the Acetobacter to the party, and they cause the vinegration to occur. So, alright, and we'll go ahead and dip some more of this. And I'm down pretty much to where what I've got in the bottom here now is about an inch of water. And so I've got probably some quite a few seeds in the bottom of that. So now I'm just going to pick that up and drain it through my strainer. We'll put the strainer here, move that, put the strainer there, slosh this around good so I get all the seeds. Up, there's a whole bunch of seeds left in. Roll that around. I'm going to pour off some. Try not to pour off any seeds. Now, there's quite a bit of pulp. About to pour out a bunch of seeds. There's quite a bit of pulp if you look. See? But that's all seeds, and they all should be viable seeds. Now I'm going to use my fingers and pull most of this pulp out of here. Now it's going to require me to wash it. So at this point, this is all pretty much done. There's still some seeds in here that I want to get. So now I'm going to go just put some water in here, and that will allow me to rinse that a little better. Okay, I put about an inch or two of water in the bucket is all. And now I'll just let it wash over these. Okay, now it's time to go to our water hose. This right here, this bucket will all go up to the compost pile. But it's time to go to our water hose and start cleaning more. Here we go. Now I'm going to switch this over from a jet to just a general flow. And what that'll do, it will allow me to take out this stuff, which I'm not worried about where it goes right now. Allow me to take out this stuff and wash the seeds off of it. wash it good because that gets rid of all the sprout inhibitors. Now, there's going to be some debris left in here, but it'll be easier to pick out once these are good and dry. Right there is probably a couple of thousand Cherokee Purple tomato seeds. Now, what am I going to do with them? This is where your paper plate comes in. I'm going to take these and disperse them over 3 paper plates. Okay, there's some water left in them. There's fairly wet. Okay, there's some. Get some more. You break up most of the big stuff, the big clobs. There's one. Okay, let's let that wash down and get it back in a lump for me. Got it all bunched up again. Now just take that. Put it on my paper plate and disperse them as good as I can. Like I said, there's some pulp in there, but when these completely dry, you'll be able to get the rest of that pulp out. That's that one. That's 2 paper plates. Balance these up here. Now I want to get them all out. The rest of them. And I can't hold on to the plate and do that, so I'll be off camera for just a second. Let me get these. There's a few left. I want to get them all together. See, that got them all together. I can get those scraped into that plate. Now here's the 3rd paper plate. Just get these spread out, pour that water off. Now these will stick to the paper plate. Get that out of there. These will stick to the paper plate some. But it's a lot better than a napkin or a paper towel because it just comes right off the paper plate. You can just scrape those and bust them loose. Now it'll take about 3 days for these to dry completely. And then I'll just scrape them off and put them in a Ziploc baggie and put them in our tote in the basement. Okay? Now if you like this stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself, seed saving, viability, prepping kind of stuff, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. If you hit the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. Now, with that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.